Okay, so we've got a bit of a cold, windy day, as you might be able to hear on the mic there, and we've got sunshine as well, and we're in double figures. It's, I think, about 3.8 today. So my hands are going to be blued throughout, and I'm not expecting a lot of battery life from this, because obviously the cold does kill batteries. So another little Mavic Pro clone, as you can see, really tiny. This one's really cheap as well, and I'll put down a link in description for you. And there's a few benefits I really like about this one. It's got an unusual sort of fold out design. You've got to click this bit out first of all, then these fold out that way, and then that goes back in, and it really does hold it in a solid position. And it's almost like a solid quad, which is rather nice. Then you just fold out the front arms, and there we are. We're in sort of flight mode, ready to go. No landing feet or anything, really nice and simple. Hand catch, hand launch as well, you could. Very, very lightweight. And this is one of the things I like about this, is it just comes with a 600 milliamp hour single cell battery with a lossy micro connector, and you can get loads of these. I'll put a link down in description. You can get it, I think it's about 5 or 6 of them for about £10 with a multi-charger as well. I think that's a huge benefit, and you've got a massive battery bay area there. You could get bigger batteries in, no trouble at all. So I think that's really nice and good. It's aimed at a beginner, I'm sure it is, and I think it could be quite a good little beginner's quad. We've got a very basic transmitter, and like I say, everything's cheap on it. It's got a sort of cheapy feel to it, which is exactly what it's aimed at. It's produced at a budget, and I've hopefully, if it flies well, they've produced it well at a budget. I've come across these transmitters before in lots of other quads, and they're quite a sort of standard one, obviously a toy grade one, and it's a mode 2 flying mode. So this is your throttle here, so you go up and down there, makes it go up and down, and it's got altitude hold as well, so when you let go of the stick it will just sit at an altitude. Only at the height, it's not going to sit in a position because the wind can drag this across. It doesn't have GPS or anything like that on it. If you want it to turn right, you just push this to the right, and it actually will pirouette on the spot, so it doesn't actually turn in that way. It's literally turning in its own axis, basically, to the right and turn to the left. That's called yawing when you get into your quads. If you're new to it, this is you'll start using the terminology, then everyone will understand what on earth you're on about. This is pitching forward, so that goes forwards and backwards, and this goes to the right and goes to the left, and that's called rolling. And that's in normal mode, so the front of the quad is where the direction is. So if the quad's facing at that angle, I push forward, that is backwards, this is right, and that's left. Learn to fly that way, it's a much better way of flying. But this one does have headless mode, so you press this button here and it puts it into headless mode, which means it takes no notice of the heading of the actual quad, and if we bound it up this way ready to go before we fly, and I'll show you how, well, it auto binds this one, so basically when we turn everything on it's facing that way. No matter what orientation I turn the quad in, if I push forward, forward it always away from me, backwards towards me, right and left. We've got a few other features on the actual transmitter. You start the motors with this button at the top here, this rocker switch, and then you to flip, you simply press this one here to flip, and you press it and then you choose a direction of what way you want to flip, and it literally does a 360 inversion. You can have return to home, you press this one and it will head roughly back to where you are. These ones here are trim buttons if this starts to constantly drift in one direction. It's not the wind taking it that way. So if you're indoors or a perfectly still day and it's kept going that way, you could adjust that. But what I would suggest you do is we calibrate it, and what you do there is you have it on somewhere level, pull the two sticks down and out, you get flashing LEDs, and then that means the gyros are calibrated. That will usually sort your problem. This one they say is locked. What it actually does is emergency stop. So if you're in flight and you've got a real problem happening, and I'm talking serious problem here, you should be able to bring the quad down yourself. But if you really are panicking, hit that, it'll kill the motors instantly, and your quad will just drop to the floor. These ones here are your rates, and you go up and down on the rates depending on what way you put the rocker. To the left is up and to the right is down the rates, and it's got 3 different rates. So that's about everything really. This one also has a little camera on the front. I'm not expecting great guns out of the camera, but again, like I say, it's all aimed at a budget, and I think it's all going to be pretty good. So it has a phone holder on the top here, and you can change that so it doesn't have a phone holder. You can simply take this off and put the ordinary battery bay holder on there. And I really do suggest, if you're new to flying, just fly. Don't bother about putting phones on and FPV and everything like that. Learn to fly, enjoy the hobby, and then move on to the FPV and everything else. Okay, the first thing we need to do is turn our quad on, and I'm actually going to put it down here. There we go. LEDs aren't going to show up much there, but they will if we go into shade area. You can see them. You can just hardly see them from the sides, to be honest. You almost have to be underneath it. They're not the best in the world, to be perfectly honest. But you do have green at the front and red at the back. Yeah, they put red at the back. It's amazing. Simply turn that on and you get a beep 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 off your transmitter, and then the LEDs will go solid, which means we're bound and ready to go. And I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to show you this, am I? Let me get under here. So I'm going to go on my head here. And then if we pull those two sticks down and out, there you get a flash, a beep, and that's calibrated the gyros. I'm thinking this thing is more or less level. I'm hoping so anyway. By the way, this is what I do when I'm not reviewing and I'm bored and there's a big tree down in the garden. I just did a bit of chainsaw carving on here, so hopefully you can see that. It was just a bit of fun, just a seat for the missus and I, and then the grandkids can sit all around as well. So hey! It's another hobby, I guess. Oh, you get LEDs on here, which are the brightest LEDs on the whole system, even brighter than the quad, and they do absolutely nothing. It doesn't bind with it or anything else. It's just a feature. So we need to go into our Wi-Fi settings, and it's probably already picked it up, which it has done. There we go. It's YD UFO, and that's already picked that up. And all I'm going to use this for is just to actually have a look through the camera and take pictures and everything. There's no storage on the actual quad. It has to be stored back on your phone, so this is the only way you can record things. You have to have a phone running. And the app is called FYD FPV, so we just simply launch into that. And I've got really cold hands because honestly it's freezing out here. Now the first thing you notice is it's all in Chinese, and you just press this second button down, and then it switches all the language to English, so which is is a lot easier for me. And there we go. We got the controls on, so now we would be flying it on the app, and to turn the controls off you just simply press that. And like I say, this is where we're going to record our video and take our stills. And if you want a clean shot, so you want just to see the whole thing, you don't want these menus at the top here, just simply press the button, press the screen once, and it gets rid of them. So it's rather good, that I like. So I'm going to start the video again, get a nice little beep off it. I won't... Oh no, will that just about take off there? I think it just might. Whoa! There we go. Whoa! Whoops! This is not great, the phone holder, by the way. There we go, yeah, so we're okay. Yeah, camera's working. It's a... There we go. So sorry, there's a rocker switch here. It's the starter motor is the back one. Whoops. And then the front one is the actual headless mode. And I did have it in headless mode by mistake there. So that actual camera isn't that bad. I mean, it isn't going to be great, I know, but it's actually working. Oh, this. There we go. So that's in low rates, and it really is low. I'm in a very tight area for flying here, probably a bit daft. Let's go over here, shall we? I was just stood in the sun in the middle of November in the Highlands, and that's a benefit, we always think. Stood in the sun any time in the Highlands is a benefit. There we go. So I'm going to put the rates up. So that's into second rates. Actually flies quite nicely. Nothing too anxious about it. And it does actually responding to the controls really well. Oh right, so that was high rate, so this is low rates. Right, sorry. It starts in intermediate rates, this one. I've had this before on other quad. So that is low rate, so that's really nice and low. Whoa, so low I can almost feel like I haven't got control, but it is actually going. That's full backwards pitch. Okay, that's intermediate. I'm going to put it up into high rates. There we go, and I'm just going to see how we get on with how far we can go. I know that 50 meters is over by those bushes over there. Way, we're already there. That's 50 meters. Oh, God, that screen is not good. But it is still holding on the FPV. And the yaw isn't silly in high rates either. There we go. Oh, cracky, that really is poor quality on that FPV. Yeah, so it's definitely no sports flyer by any means. but it's flying. And actually, if you're new to flying, you really wouldn't want anything too fast. There we go. So that's the flip. So press the flip button there, and it flips in every direction, forwards, backwards, left and right. So it's the back button there for the start the motors. And like I say, now I know it starts in second rates. Oh, not going to be the best way with me. Whoops. There we go. Oh, let's just try and do a little bit of a selfie, shall we? Yeah, the screen looks awful. I mean, it really is bad. And jello, loads of jello. That's the, if you're not sure what jello is, it's just the vibrations, the wobble that you get with screens. There we go. Right, let's start that video again. What else? I was going to show you the emergency stop, wasn't I? It really is an emergency stop as well. And the other thing you can do is, so the emergency stop, I just get it nice and low and literally just press this button. There we go, bonk. So, like I say, if you got it way up high and something squirrely's happening to it, you could just hit it, hit that button. The only thing is you could damage your quad, like I say. So, okay, so I think that's pretty much everything done. We did the range and everything else. What I'm going to do is actually fly it on the app. So let's just pop that off. I'm going to turn off the transmitter. Okay, so we've got the flashing LEDs, even though the actual feed from the camera is working, so we're actually bound up on it and everything. But now if I actually turn on the controls, then the LEDs will stop flashing in a second. There we go. So we're ready to go. And you can have altitude on, hold on or off. I'm going to leave it on and just press that, and then the motors start. And we'll start the video as well, but it's going to be the same as it's exactly the same way of recording as we did before. There we go. And we start in 100%. That's quite unusual on apps. Probably because it knows what the weather's like in Scotland. There we go. And it's quite twitchy, this app. I'm actually going to drop that down to 30%. That's it. And now you're getting something nice and smooth now. There we go. Yeah, so it flies okay. It's just a little bit on the yaw. It's just nothing happens, and then all of a sudden it's sort of doing something. But it is controllable. Like I say, it's just a budget one, really. I'm actually struggling with the wind there. Whee! Like I say, you don't get any yaw on it, and then all of a sudden you get loads of yaw. And that doesn't matter what rate you're in, which is quite unusual. You usually get it just in 100%. That's quite a normal sort of situation. You can still do whoop. You can still get blown around a bit. Way, that wind is quite strong actually. It's coping really well with it. You can do your flips and your tricks and everything here. That's the one for whoops. Whee! These things are pretty safe as well. I mean, I wouldn't risk trying to hit yourself or anyone else with it, but they are quite safe, I can assure you, because the props will just get out of the way, and that wind is just catching it all the time. It's a real struggle to fly. It's actually quite good fun though. It's like a radio game with 4 motors. Whee! Oh, it's coping ever so well. Okay, you do have a mission planner thing on this, and you do actually have voice activation. I hate voice activation. I hate the mission one. What I should do is I should take it round here. Let's take it into the where we've got a little bit more room. And the FPV is not good enough to sort of fly FPV. It's frozen up again actually on the screen there. Oops. It's freezes up quite a lot. That's not unusual on cheap quads by any means. Okay, so shall I try the mission one? If anyone knows the channel, you know how much I really hate this. Oh, did I show you headless mode on the other one? Yeah, I did, didn't I? I'm sure I did. Right, so get it to come down. There we go. Whoa! Hit that emergency stop. I know this is wind or just bad piloting. Yes. Okay, so we press this one, and then basically what we do is we pick a loop of where we want to go. I don't know, wherever you want to go. I find these things awful, but I will try and show it to you. And actually in this wind it's going to be even worse, but as if it could be. Okay, so I'll start off in 100%. Let's just see how we get on, shall I? Oh, the camera's frozen for... Oh, it's still working. Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? There we go, so up. Yeah, so it goes off on the mission of where I've sent it, which is great. So literally, as you can see, it's tasking round where I've sent it, sort of thing. You can still go up and down, you can still alter the everything else on it. Whoa! This is my durability test, and it's passed. You can see why I really don't like the app. That part of the app, I never have done. I don't think I'm ever going to change on it, to be perfectly honest. So. And the other thing we've got is voice control. Take off. Oh, I think you have to prime the motors. Take off. And it's accepted that I've said take off. It just paid no attention to it whatsoever. I've never ever had any... oh, it's showing you exactly where everything is, so there we go. Which is very kind of it. Take off. Take off. I've never ever had any luck with these things, I must admit. So I'm going to stop the motors. Let's see if we can do it that way. Take off. That's all it does. Okay, you can fly this on your gyro as well. Now this will be a bit more fun. So up we go. And then literally as I tilt my phone, it will go where I tilt, basically. So tilt it to the left, it will go to the left. Tilt it to the right, it goes to the right. Tilt it forward, it goes forward. Tilt it back, it goes back. And at any angle as well, so you don't have to go in the 4 sort of points of the compass. You can just sort of have it at any angle you like, sort of thing. You can also use the you can also use the yaw as well, and the height as well, so you can use the throttle as well. Might actually be getting low on batteries. So there we go. And if you know the channel, you know that I let the grandkids like flying in gyro mode. It's pretty good fun for them. And I get them to turn with what way the quad's facing. So if I turn the quad round that way now, I would expect the kids to go that way, and then it just makes sense to them. So, and it does to me as well. Well, there we go. That is definitely low battery. Hey, well, well, I say it's low battery, but it's sort of decided perhaps it isn't. And like I say, you really are going to do no damage with these. They really don't have a lot of, and that's part of the design actually, is really nice with these fold out the way props sort of thing.
So what do I think of the sort of Mavic Pro clone? There is loads of them out there, by the way, loads and loads, and there's more coming, I think, as well. It's a nice little design. The way it folds up really nice and tight is really good. The props sort of tuck in out the way, and it's virtually impossible to damage. They really are. You do get spare sets of props. You get a little screwdriver with it as well, and also obviously the battery charger. And the way it folds out is very good. It's a nice, you know, feels okay when it's out. It's nice and solid, and the back end is certainly solid. You flick that out the way, and like I showed you before, you sort of put that back on, that really locks it. It's nice. It's, you know, it's got some pros. I always try and look at these things on the reviews and say, you know, is it value for money? I'm not sure whether it is, and only you can really decide how you want to spend your hard earned. This is £20, so to me that doesn't sound an awful lot of money to have something with the features this has got on it. It could have a better camera, of course it could, but then the price would be £25. It could have a better transmitter, that makes it £30. You know, it goes on from there, sort of thing. Only you can really decide. That's why I put the raw footage off here on, and you can have a look. And I'm honest on the reviews. There's no point in being any other way as far as I'm concerned. If you're running reviews, aren't you? It's how I view it, how I fly it, what I like about it. Talking about what I like about it, obviously on the app, I didn't like the voice control, just did not work no matter what I tried with that, and I don't see any sense in it at all, because it literally takes off, you say forward, backwards, right and left, and that's all it does. I've never found any application of them. If you could give it far more in-depth instructions, which will come, then I could see a lot more sense in it. But at the moment, I just think it's a novelty and doesn't do anything for me. Same in the mission mode, just sort of do your finger around and it goes off, but it won't record it. It doesn't. So you can't do the same path again or slightly alter it or anything. You have to do a fresh path every time. So I think anyone with it, once you've done it twice, that's about it. And if you've got any breeze, of course, it just blows it away from you anyway, sort of thing. So yeah, generally, I thought the quad was pretty good for what it was. I mean, this battery bay area here, you could fit a truck battery in there. It is huge. I don't think I've ever come across one with that much spare area. And the battery was very good on it. I was getting 7 minutes of flight about, and it's cold up here. This is November in the Highlands of Scotland. It is cold. So that did really well. It usually kills batteries, but that would doing okay. It takes about an hour to charge as well. And I'll put a link down in description to buy multi-batteries. I think there's 5 or 6 you get for about £10. And then also you get a multi-charger with it, which means that you can charge them all up in about an hour. So that gives you loads more flying time. So I like it. I think I think the battery bay and everything worked pretty well. The actual transmitter worked pretty good as well. Got good range out of that, no problems at all, and it just works. Everything works on it fine. It's no problem at all. The only thing I did have with the transmitter, and if you take the battery bay door out and then put this in, which is your phone holder, it is slightly loose and a little bit floppy to put it. That is basically how it goes. When you've got some weight of a phone in there, it really does fold over. But once you get used to it, you just tilt the transmitter back a little bit more and it never comes forward. So it's just something to learn with, sort of thing. So only you can decide what you spend your money on. As I said before, I think it's not bad for a budget thing, but there are loads out there, and I've done reviews on lots of other quads around this sort of price. So have a drove around the channel, see what you like. So hope you've enjoyed the review, and stay tuned, there's more on the way.